Hi, guys. Welcome to Real Food Recovery. We are very excited to have a guest with us today. Jamie and I have had an opportunity to get to know Lisa Asbell, and she has a wonderful weight loss story that we want to hear all about. But before we get to her, I'm going to say hello to Jamie, and Jamie's going to give you a little bit of a background on her. Hi, Jamie. How's it going?
Good, good, great. Happy to be here. Happy to have Lisa here with us. Lisa Asbell is an RN, it's a nurse by training and a dedicated professional with over 3 decades of coaching and mentoring expertise in the health and wellness arena. Lisa's journey from achieving multi-million-dollar success in direct sales to her current role as a leader in the wellness and beauty spaces, Lisa is driven by an unwavering passion for fostering profound lifestyle change. And she really came into this whole healthcare world at the young age of 14 as a candy striper. And she has a career spanning over 40 years. She's not only excelled in direct sales, but also left an indelible mark as a coach and trainer. Transitioning to coaching, Lisa founded the Well Weight Loss brand. And by embracing the sight edge philosophy, has guided thousands towards sustainable success. Immersing herself in the realm of obesity medicine for the last 4 years, Lisa applies her knowledge in nutrition and coaching. Her commitment to building a coaching practice that addresses the complexities of weight loss and has positively impacted thousands of individuals. Lisa firmly believes in a holistic approach to weight loss and management, recognizing the interconnectedness of physical and mental well-being. Her empowering message of lifestyle change has touched the lives of over 100,000 individuals, proving that health goals are attainable in every area of life. At the core of Lisa's journey is an ardent passion for helping others live better lives. This passion drives her coaching philosophy, where she empowers clients to embrace health and wellness as a holistic journey. Lisa's dedication goes beyond professional success. It's a commitment to making a meaningful impact on the lives she touches. Her impact extends far beyond her coaching. She's been featured on numerous podcasts and magazine covers, and her collaborations with large healthcare organizations across the U.S. shows a lifelong commitment to making a difference. She's also a commercial actor and model. Well, welcome, Lisa. Glad you're here.
Well, I don't know who wrote that, but it sounds good. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited, to share. I tell my clients a lot. I can talk a lot about what not to do, but I'd
Well,
love
and
to share anything.
yeah, and that's how we'll kind of get started is we want to know your story. What was your history with weight? How did you come to the place where you're going to lose weight? So if you want to just kind of tell us your weight loss story, I think that would be a great place to hear about your journey. If you want to go ahead and share
I
that with
I
us.
would. Thank you. Thank you guys again for having me. When I found um your social media, I was like so intrigued, and then I heard your stories too. So congratulations to both of you
Thank you.
for your success. But kind of the way I guess looking back now, I think, wow, I always was drawn to carbs, like even
Sure.
though I didn't have a weight problem growing up. Um, I did not, I was very active. Whatever I did in damaging food, I did not have a weight problem. And then I went off to college and I played sports and then I ended up getting married and having kids and the exercise stopped and more of the old Southern lifestyle, just everything was a potluck. We went to church all the time, honestly,
Mhm.
it was really kind of like going from this robust, very busy, active lifestyle, really my young years through college, to being like this mother of two little kids, unhappy marriage, always on a diet, joining Weight Watchers 10 times, just like that roller coaster because I knew there was a better answer.
Mhm.
But even at 22 years old, and this was when I was 22 years old, and I'm almost 58. So, I mean, this is a 38-year deal, for me. And I'm no new kid on the block. But, for a lot of my life, excuse me, for my adult life, struggling with the weight, I just didn't try. Like, I just didn't care. I was like, okay, deep down, I might have hated being the fattest person in the room. I was bad to compare then. I don't do that anymore. That's a habit to be broken, and I work hard on that one. But, I never wanted to be the heaviest person in the room. I didn't want to sit in a chair and fear that it would break. And, I've got coached thousands and thousands of people, and I can tell you there's a difference in somebody with 20 pounds to lose and somebody with 200 pounds to lose. And I was somewhere in the middle with like maybe 140, 150 pounds too much on my body. And I've even changed the dialogue about the way I think of so many things now, Paige. But the bottom line is that I really, looking back, always really enjoyed the carby kind of sweet. I'm a sweets girl,
Right.
not like, cheese or bread, pasta, but more
Mhm.
sweets. And I
Yeah.
always really would let that tiger win, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And but I just, when I decided that it had to be a different lifestyle, and that's what happened to me back when I was 53. In 2019, I really believed in visioning. I'm a coach. I've had successful businesses. I'm a nurse. I've done a lot of coaching and cheerleading like for 40 years in one way or
Mhm.
the other. I'm a mom, a grandmom. And I always felt like the weight was the one thing, like my business, I'm successful, my family's pretty good, my marriage is pretty good, but the weight. And that, honestly, I felt that way. And now that story has resonated. I think the number's over 1 million now, with over 1 million women of somehow impacting that understanding. That's it. Everybody feels that way. Like it could be on lots of ends of the spectrum, but that's where I was. I had a knee problem. I was a nurse. I justified it all. I was flying every week. I had a big corporate job. It was a dream life. I traveled the world every week. But I would slug in 317 pounds standing up in front of the smartest doctors in the US at Johns Hopkins. And it was like a wake up call. And there's so many pieces of the story that I could tell that I know that would resonate with people. But
Mhm.
I went to in Ojai, California. It's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
I went on a medical retreat with a bunch of doctors. It's really like fancy, very nice up there. And Sandra Bullock was there, in fact. And but it's heels, and there were all these people and these doctors hiking, and I was 320 pounds, bad knee, a lot of inflammation. But as a nurse, I kept telling myself I was okay because my labs were okay. Like my metabolic health looked okay, like I didn't
Mhm.
have heart problems, I didn't have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, so I told myself I was okay. But at one point, it hit me in 2019 when I walked out with having been with these doctors. And I said to one of the doctors, I just love that whole being active. I was so active years ago, and I have always been a little, probably pretty active, but I was like, I really miss that. And she said, why aren't you? And I said, oh, I got a bad knee. She encouraged me to get an MRI. The MRI revealed, Lisa, you eat too much and you eat too much processed food. That was
Mhm.
the bottom line. You eat way too much processed crap.
Mhm.
And so that started my journey. And that was in July of 2019. And I can no longer, as a nurse, say it's not the weight. My knee problems are the weight. My depression is the weight. It's all my weight.
Mhm.
And it was more the food I was taking in. I'm looking back at it that way now, right? But
Mhm.
now, in the holistic picture of it all, it was just my lifestyle. I
Right.
had a I had a high stress, non organized, undisciplined, out of control lifestyle, even as a corporate executive, and
Mhm.
it's like, wow, so that brought me to 2019. I decided to make a change. I had always researched this. I've been researching the science of how fat happens and how weight loss happens in nutrition now since I was, oh, I don't know, 22, 23 years old. So it's like I've been fascinated with all of this for decades, but I finally figured out the lifestyle piece. And that's, you've got to find that lifestyle, man, that works for you, and you won't know if you don't give it good go.
Mhm.
Give it a good go. And so that's, I mean, honestly, that's my message to just now everything I do is like it's lifestyle. If you want to look like all your, big bellied friends, eat what they eat and drink what they drink.
Right.
Go for it. you
Mhm.
know, and if you want to be trimmer and healthier and feel good and have energy and vitality, don't eat all that. And
Mhm.
then it's trying to get people through the process, you know, of actually not eating it. And
Mhm.
so I don't know, it's been a beautiful journey for me, from counting calories to understanding everything, to fasting, to keto, to how many grams of added sugar, how many ingredients on the label. You know what I mean? I wasn't like all these years joining programs like so many women that I
Mhm.
coach that are overweight and struggling now for years. I might would try keto for a hot minute, but I never really gave much my attention at all. You know what I mean? I just and this time I was ready. You know, I was forced to because of my knee. It was a wake up call. Like, do you think you always have to be the heaviest person in the room? Like, and if you do you want somebody to have to take care of you when you're 65 because you're in a wheelchair?
Mhm. Mhm.
And so the spinal stenosis and some of the other health challenges really pushed me to just go, just keep learning and don't quit now. It don't matter if the scale goes up and down and you gain a few pounds. I lost a total of 130 and I've kept off about 108
Mhm.
and 5 years now. And, you know, I really, the couple of years of gaining a little bit of pounds back, I just, you know, I don't count calories and do all that. I've just tried to eat healthier and healthier and take care of my body and build muscle and exercising and you know what I mean? Just
Yeah,
so,
that's what I was curious about, if there was a certain type of, I'm gonna use the word diet, meaning just eating style that you gravitated towards that helped you lose your weight. I mean, that's a pretty
I
significant
think
accomplishment.
it started out with counting everything. I joined Weight Watchers. I counted everything. And even as a nurse, and I would sit at night, Wayne and I, after dinner and play rummy, you know, after like a, you know, fried chicken kind of dinner. Okay. And he didn't have a weight problem. Right. So I'm like, well, I don't even eat half of what he eats. Well, guess what? Now I eat about a third or fifth of what he eats. You
Mhm.
know, you can't eat like that. You know, when you're a
Mhm.
perimenopausal woman, you can't eat like that. And it's
Mhm.
like, you know, I just got to be so passionate about just understanding the health of it all. But it started out very much counting points, counting calories while I was studying the brain of it all, you
Mhm.
know, like how to rewire your habits, how to rewire your brain, how to, you know, everything from James Clear and the 5 a.m. Club. You know, I told you I love Catherine Henson's work, Brain Over Binge.
Mhm.
And I know her personally now for years. I used to be her client
Oh.
because at one time I thought that, you know, and I was never really what you would consider a binge eater. But honestly, if you look at it from a very conservative way I eat now, it was all day long mini binges.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That's what it
Yeah.
was. It might not have been
Mhm.
15,000 calories until I passed out, but you know, it was, you know, 1,000 calories here, 800 here, another 1,000 there, and that makes a 317-pound woman. And you can't exercise that off. And so it's like, you know, you can go all day long on cardio, I don't care, you know, Orange Theory, all of that. And if you're eating too many calories for your body, it's sorry. You know,
Mhm.
I mean, great congratulations on being in better cardio health, you know,
Mhm.
but you're kicking yourself. And
Mhm.
I listen, everything I share, I want to say this too. People that know me know I'm pointing it back at myself. I
Mhm.
live it every day, you know, every
Mhm.
day. I'm like, you know, I love the cardio. I love doing a little strength training, building muscle. I'm really into that. You know, I love eating the rainbow. I'm more interested about eating the rainbow than I am
Mhm.
the next what's, but to answer your question, sorry, I chased that. Paleo, Mediterranean, you know, very heavy, you know, greens and finding your own vegetables. To me, I'm really not that big of a greens girl. I have to really push myself on that one. But I'm a very big vegetable girl. So I just figured out the ones I like, you know, and then
Mhm.
I stopped. I did so many tools, you know, a page, you know it. Don't bring it in your house, you know, that all those kind of things, you know, sit down, have a minute for yourself, take a pause. Like
Mhm.
just the all the things around, I think emotional eating, mindless eating, all those things. And I try to, I mean, I don't try, I have. I've not only have done it myself, but I teach it, you know, of trying to help people just take a minute, Reflect back on what your values are. I mean, if you want to be a bodybuilder, prepare to, this is it. This is going to be your life. If you
Mm-hmm.
want to be a healthy woman that enjoys your grandchildren with lots of energy,
Yeah.
you got to figure out how that works for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm somewhere in between. I may do a triathlon one day. I don't know. I honestly, I like it. But at the same time, I feel very compelled to always tell people, and you and I talked about this, that, moderation, portion control, and all that stuff. Well, they've been preaching that for 50 years, 60, 70 years now. God, I'm getting old. 70 years they've been preaching this, right? Since the
Mm-hmm.
50s, 60s, 70s. And it doesn't help if a person has that addictive compulsive personality. It doesn't help if that person gets that dopamine hit, from the food and they are just the one.
Mm-hmm.
It's 15 other kids start having a cocktail or whatever drink when they're 16 and they don't turn into alcoholics. And then you've got those people, and this is stuff I feel in my heart. I think science proves this. Now, I spend a lot of time on the science of all of this. And that's just the way our brains are wired. But, sorry to digress, but that's really my journey of, it was all my life. And then it was really coming to, I won't quit till I figure out healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
And I figured that one out and I just share it. That's it. And it's different for everybody. Some people aren't giving up tailgating. Some people aren't giving up a brownie. Some people aren't giving up. They're not. I mean, thousands of women have come through the doors, but there are those people that just say, I know I'm going to have to be different. And I know this is going to be a different lifestyle, but I'm committed to the benefits of it. So I'm going to go the distance with it. And I cheer those. Honestly, I feel like I've got a group full of them. I've got same women I've been coaching now for 4 years. And a lot of them say repeat, 80% clients now for 4 years. And it's because, number one, I'm just telling the truth. I live this. I didn't read it in a book. And then but I have done a lot of research on the science, just like you all. You all are very smart about the science of all this stuff
Mm-hmm.
and very actually smarter than me about it. But, to the average person, we're experts. Okay.
Right.
And I mean, we have to own that because when you've done the work we've done at this point in our life, we're in the top 5%, maybe even 2% of people in the world, maybe even 1% of people in the world with the knowledge of how to lose weight, get a healthier lifestyle, quieten the food noise that is so easy to get a shot for now. We are people that know all those things and we want to impart that. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you and I are on the same page on that. Yes?
Oh, totally.
Yes.
Totally. In fact,
You
I
know,
think Jamie may have something that she wants to ask you. Oh, you're muted, Jamie.
Yeah.
There.
So I would say the biggest thing that you mentioned is about, committing to the lifestyle and looking at it from a benefits perspective. Um, how do you help clients uh, connect to the benefits of that lifestyle?
I try to put people there. To me, I think there needs to be a shift in identity. You're just giving a person a diet plan. I mean, people come to me knowing I don't do all that, that this is a mental game, that you're signing up for a long time. You got to give yourself some chance to learn how to literally change your lifestyle
Mm-hmm.
because it impacts your family, it impacts your husband, it impacts the way you get in the car and go on a trip. It impacts everything. So if I give somebody a 1,800 or 1,500 calorie meal plan, I've done a disservice, and so that's for me, that's first and foremost. If you come to me, that's it. I can't do that for you. Now I can give you some guidelines because a lot of times I find people don't know how much they're eating,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you explain the science of calories and deficits and all that, then they go, oh, I don't know. Did I answer your question? I did. Yeah, I
Yes.
want to answer all your questions without, because I'm so passionate about it,
Mm-hmm.
and I told you that. I told you guys that when we talked before that, like, I was so passionate about sharing with your people, like anything I can impart, I want people to be set free. I want them to live robust lifestyles, but that's the question. I paint the picture for them. I go, you get to craft this. If you want to be bedridden in a nursing home and depressed every day of your life, keep eating all that sugar. Like that's up to you. If
That's
you
right.
want to be 70 and somebody wiping your tail in a nursing home, keep it up.
Mhm.
There you
I'm
go.
a nurse, right? I mean, I wish somebody had been direct with me like that. I just, I don't want to be mean. You can cut that out. But my
It's
people,
true.
but
It
my
is.
people know, like I was driven by mobility at 53. And at the
Mhm.
time, I didn't know my spinal stenosis was so bad. I didn't even understand the genetic predisposition of issues. I didn't even understand, some people have genetically just less muscle mass. Okay. I didn't even understand sarcopenia. I mean, there's so many pieces of this I didn't know. And
Mhm.
when you keep sinking in long enough, committing yourself, and I'll say that for people in your program, dig in. Don't miss a thing. Don't miss a meeting. Don't miss a call. Don't miss the opportunity to jump on here and learn from experts that have done it.
Mhm.
There's always somebody with a new plan every other day. All these other companies are changing their game and doing it this way. And you know what? My core messages always stay the same. You know, it's, eat when you're hungry, eat one ingredient healthy foods, build some lean muscle and keep learning.
Yeah,
That's it. That's mine. And I know you guys have a good one too. And I could throw the spiritual piece in there too, because there's a lot to be said on that one.
for
Really,
sure.
it's my whole life is improved. And thank God, my outlook, my just everything from organization to discipline to holding myself accountable, but at the same time, grant myself grace.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And that is a balance. That's an art right there.
Agreed. Agreed.
And so that's how I live every day. The lifestyle people see in social media is me. To answer your question about food, a typical day might be first thing I eat is usually around noon or 1 o'clock. And there's usually a vegetable attached to it. Okay. It might be bell pepper. It might be something grilled. Sometimes it's cold. And usually some tuna, like some grilled ahi tuna, I might eat with that. Um, I do then, I do try to get a cup of greens in. I'm not a big greens person, but, and I don't measure, I don't do any of that. Okay. But I really might cook in a little bit of olive oil, but I'm not a big, hey, it's olive oil. Hey, it's loaded with
Mhm.
calories. You know,
Mhm.
hey, it's still loaded with fat. I'm not a big, just use everything liberally. And then my ideal day, honestly, is I've already exercised a couple of times in between meetings and that kind of thing. And then if I'm hungry, I try to remember to drink some water first. I really do try to get that in. It starts the night before with the plan of what I'm going to eat. I don't willy-nilly now. I know what's in my home. I know what I eat. I plan around dinner with my husband. I plan around weekends with friends. I don't depend on anybody else to bring my food.
Mhm.
No, I'm not bringing your cigarettes and I'm not bringing your liquor and you don't have to bring my food. That's the way I look at it, right? That's a good one, isn't it?
No,
Let's
I
put
get
that on a t-shirt. It's like, and don't have your feelings hurt if what you got there I don't eat. I mean, it's like,
Mhm.
I'm pretty direct about that now. And that is the beauty for me of the last 6 or 8 months of my journey. Even being a coach and being successful these years, keeping the weight off, that's like the biggest thing because it's lifestyle and it's me and it's authentic and it's real. And if you don't like it, I wish you did, you know, but
Mhm.
that's who I am. And it's such to me, the growth of the journey when you do this, not on a diet,
Mhm.
far exceeds what the scale will ever say again about me. It does. But I know I've got enough going in my life and respect for myself and self-worth because that was a big underlying piece I've found in coaching a lot of people. Low self-esteem, low self-worth, but it's the same successful women that say, well, my career's great, my husband's great, my house is great, it's all great. And then they start losing weight, doing some inner work, wondering why they're eating when they're not hungry. You know what I mean? And that you can't just give them a playbook and say, here you go, go do it.
Mhm.
Well, come on, that's why diets don't work.
Mm-hmm.
And that we have to teach people they need community. We have to teach people they have to show up, because a lot of people didn't nobody told them to show up for themselves, and we have to teach them to show up for other people too. Because
No, I agree. I like that that component about showing up for other people, and I like that idea about community too. One
yes,
of our guests that we interviewed one time said, "You've got to have community. You can't do it by yourself. If you could, you would have by now, but you can't." So most often people do community, and in our community, we've talked to you about our four main core branches of food or food prep. We gear towards the single ingredient, non-processed food because that has the biggest filling factor for people, the most satiation, and your brain likes those foods. That's how the brain was wired to
it's the
process.
healthiest.
It's the
It's the
healthiest.
healthiest way to eat.
It is. It is the optimal. And we teach sleep. You've got to have your sleep in order for things to work. And as you talked about movement, you've got to have that movement component in there. And yes, the spirituality is a big part of our program too. Do you
Mhm.
identify with those main pillars? Do you incorporate that when you're working with people?
Oh, yes. Yes, yes, and yes. Everything from, the reason I named my company initially Well, and actually one of my members named it. It didn't even have a name. And we named it Well, and somebody else made the logo. And somebody else made t-shirts, it's a lovely, beautiful story in 2020. But it was because to me, I knew it had to be mind, body, and spirit. Like I knew you couldn't, otherwise we are three-dimensional people. A diet is one-dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
That won't work. That
Mm-hmm.
doesn't work. It's
Mm-hmm.
like putting a square peg in a round hole. It does not work.
Mm-hmm.
And so to help people understand, that's kind of where the whole idea of wellness and well came from, because I
Mm-hmm.
thought it was mind, body, and spirit. Like, how can we, giving you a diet, okay, is your mind. Moving your body is your body, but the way that your brain controls your thoughts and your thinking and your philosophies, that's the one we got to get in touch with. And if we don't get in touch with the spirit, that guiding force you have, you're going to just be spinning your wheels, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where Well came from, and I really haven't varied from that. I love marketing and coming up with like, I think it's so clever. And then like when you own the company, you can do it if you want to. Like I don't have anybody to run it through. I just do it. So, about a year ago, people kept asking me about the Well Core Four, or like what could you sum it up in three? Could you sum it up in three? And that's how I came up with that kind of Well Core Four thing, because which is the W is wait for hunger. Okay, because I teach that. It's one of 50,000 women who's been surveyed have told me over and over it's the number one concept that helps them live the most beautiful life now in the Well lifestyle. It's like I could just eat. I had calories, I had points, I could snack. It was fruit. It was okay. It was a handful of nuts, just to keep putting it in your mouth. And I taught them, if you aren't hungry, why are you eating? And it was when I don't even know the right word to tell you. When I tell you thousands of emails and
Mm-hmm.
hundreds of thousands of comments on that. That's why I said I know the reach is 1 million now. And I don't say that to brag. I say it because it was life changing, for
Mm-hmm.
people to understand. And some of it came from that whole idea of intuitive eating. But at the same time, you can't, somebody that's had a chronic issue with food for 100 years, you can't go to say be into an eating. You can't go over there and say do keto the rest of your life. You
Mm-hmm.
can't. Their mind don't process that. They're
Mm-hmm.
already thinking about having to give up stuff before they even got started.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Oh, sure.
so for me, I embrace that of like, I don't want you to have to give up stuff. You get to determine what you give up. There are things now I wouldn't eat and I don't eat. And it is sometimes, my mom, my family back in the South, you go to their house and it's like mac and cheese and
Mm-hmm.
fried macaroni and fried cheese. And, and oh, there's roast beef and it's like, and rolls and dessert. And I'm like, there's one little lonely pot of green beans slathered with bacon grease.
It's
And
hard to
I'm
do
like, what am I
intuitive eating.
going to
Yeah,
eat?
it's hard to do intuitive eating with those types of foods, isn't
Yeah,
it?
you can't. You
Absolutely.
if that was your normal diet, you can't go in there going, "Hey, now y'all gonna sit down and light you a candle and pray over your food." That's not gonna work. You know,
No, no.
you have to meet them at that place. And I think for me, the Weight on Hunger at the W and Well did that because it woke. And I taught fasting because of that. Because I've taught a concept now to some doctors and they like it. That I just do round the clock fasting. Like to me, I think of in tune eating as I was really hungry and I was really getting hungry. Like I didn't get sick or nauseated, but my body was saying, feed me. My stomach, not my head. My stomach was saying, feed me, feed me. And then I ate a few hundred calories of something healthy that I really love. And then I wanted to snack about an hour later, but I didn't snack because I really wasn't hungry. And then I just waited and I knew dinner would come around. And sure enough, 4 or 5 o'clock, I'm hungry again. And then, so I teach people that, and I teach them that you need 6 cups of food. I mean, the stomach's about as big as a cantaloupe. That's
Mm.
extended, that's stretched out.
Yeah.
So it's not like we need big volumes of anything,
Mhm.
and that is unfortunate in a way because the greens and the veggies add so much nutrients. I
Mhm.
think that's why you got to be real strategic in how you eat as you get older. I will
Oh,
say that.
totally.
You get to be more and more strategic the older you get if you want to be healthy.
Mhm.
And that's it. And people, it shocks people a lot when they find out what I eat in a day. And I go, look, that's my ideal day. Some days there are chips. Some days there's popcorn, some days there's yogurt with some chocolate chips on it. Some days there is that. But this is what I eat. I don't measure all that, but like 90% of the time, this is the way I eat. This is for a special rare occasion. These aren't daily behaviors because it doesn't fit my goals.
Mhm.
If your goals want to be to have health, a waist of 30, less than 35 inches, all those measurements, whether you do hip to ratio, the scale, BMI, some of the fancy new stuff, it doesn't matter. We all know. We all know the weight that we get, that we go, oh, I crave more healthy food now and I feel good here. But the problem is most people that try to do a drastic lifestyle change like this, they don't understand lifestyle and they think they're on a diet even though they're saying, oh no, this is my lifestyle, and they start coloring outside the lines and it ain't pretty.
Mm.
And I know that's why y'all really are very, very committed to your lifestyle here,
Mhm.
because it's very difficult for many people to color outside the lines. And by that, I mean, like if you have some kind of sugar problem, addicted or chips, whatever it is, don't eat it. Like it, you know what I mean? I've never been for limited food groups, but I do talk to my people like that. And I go, test yourself a little bit, test your growth. If you can have one serving of it, and you're not obsessed with it for the next 3 days about the other 4 servings in the cabinet, then congratulations, you're doing pretty good. Continue
Agree.
on. That honestly, if it's wrecking your life, then you've got to find a way to just little by little clean this up. Little by little, just less food with any additives. Anything with the label is a warning. I teach my
Yep.
people that all labels are warning labels. Don't kid yourself.
Mhm.
And because you can't, people go, well, what do you think about vegan? It's not healthy. It could be, or it could not be. Well, what do you think about keto? It's not healthy. It probably could be, or it could not be if you follow the science. What do you
Mhm.
think about Weight Watchers? It could be, or it could not be. If you follow the science, it could be either. So
Mhm.
it's like there's truth to everything, and I don't studied enough of them. There's truth to all of that. But
Mhm.
it comes down to nobody can argue about fruits and veggies. Nobody. Nobody can argue over beans. Nobody can argue over lentils. I mean, serious. Nobody's arguing over chia seeds, flax seeds, nuts and seeds. Nobody's arguing over that. People are arguing over meat. They're arguing over dairy. They're arguing over processed foods. They're arguing over caloric restriction. They're arguing over Ozempic, but nobody argues over fruits and veggies, do they? Y'all
Not that
met
I know.
somebody? I mean, the keto tries to, but that's not even, we don't even address that. I mean, keto serves its place. You know, men, I'm not talking about metabolically, I'm not talking about any of that. Men, in my experience, do tend to crave, it's shifted, I know this, but history-wise, men were more of the meat and potatoes eaters and less of the sweet eaters. And
Mm-hmm.
through decades of women emotionally more drawn to sweet, so dopamine hit, you know, we have turned our husbands into sugar people. And I've seen that in my clients when originally they go, well, when we first got married, he didn't care about dessert. Now he loves it. I go, I got one. I live with them. So, you know, I think there's some space for that, but I just think it has to be limited so much that it's not fun for people and they don't understand if food is fun for you.
You
You
gotta
know, you
find
can have
another area of
I mean,
entertainment.
you can have a great time, you can enjoy the people, you can love the flavor, and you can love what it does for your body. You can love all of that. But you know, it's either helping you reach your goals or it ain't.
Mhm.
And so to me, I try to keep tying people back to their values and their goals. If they value health, if they value reversing aging and anti-aging, then you're going to probably build some muscle and eat more plants.
Mm-hmm. Good.
And that's it. That's the Lisa lesson of the year right there. That's what we call it, you know, over in my community. They call it, that's a Lisa lesson. But you know, it's just I'm so passionate about it because it's changed my life forever. And now I've seen it impact people all over the world and in generations, for
Sure.
generations. And I
Mhm.
never told them what they could or could not eat. I've never told them exactly what kind of exercise I do. I've never shot a video of a day of my food. I've never done any of that. I just said, just learn how to wait for hunger. You know, learn how to eat more plants, get out and move somehow, start with walking and build up from there, you know,
Mhm.
and then commit to learning and community, you know, develop a lifestyle with people who are healthy. Look, it didn't take long to get rid of my unhealthy friends.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you know,
They
they
don't
take,
want to do.
oh God. They take the first train out of Dodge. It's true, you know, and then a lot of my friends now, you know, they every time they're around me, it's always the topic of conversation, and I go, I'm off the clock. I'm
Mhm.
like, honestly, you know, join my class. I
There you
just
go.
don't want to talk about it, you know, like I'm really, you know, I want to help you, but I've tried. You know, you have to be ready. Sorry.
And
Are we
what
having a good time?
what advice do you give those people who really come to you and they just can't seem to break that binge and restrict cycle?
Oh God. You know, I talk to them a lot about planning their day the night before and kind of going through life with a game plan, you know. And I've always equated it to like you get in your car and all year long, y'all been saving your money for vacation, right? And you get in your car and you look at your husband and go, well, where are we going? Or whatever, you know, and your friend and go, well, where are we going? Well, I didn't plan it. Did you? It's like, you know, well, that was stupid. And so to me, I've had to teach people and I've had to learn myself. It's like going off without your toothbrush or going off without your underwear or whatever, you know. For me, it's earrings, right? Don't go off without your earrings. I'm Southern, you know, but it's like, or lipstick. But you know, it's like this is your lifestyle. And I can only help you have to trust that if you hang in long enough, you will learn enough skills that the consistency is going to be something you get better and better at. Even the consistency of turning off the urges. And if you want to eat and you're not hungry, walking away. And then I mean, pausing, get out of the house, take a walk. I don't care. You know, just sit for a second, go put your feet in the grass if you can. I mean, to me, I just like get by yourself for just a second because I teach them. I think this concept is so good. I teach them that the you that wakes up in the morning is the real you. That's the real you. That's the you. That girl that wakes up in the morning and says, this is the life I want to be. Now I'm talking about a person maybe I've already worked with and they've kind of can see a vision of a different lifestyle, getting a little healthier, being a little leaner, whatever it is, okay? Breaking their obsession with food, right? Whatever. But they paint the picture. And, I ask them, like, just get up and put it on. Like I can tell you, you can't eat like a 24 and be a size 6.
Mm-hmm.
So people that don't have obsessions with food where they're like counting everything, they have a lifestyle too. There is a lifestyle balance of not having to worry about am I going to eat tomorrow or the next day, and planning. There's a beautiful balance there, and it's called healthy lifestyle. And so, for me, I think it's so important that I try to teach them that concept of what that person you wake up that you go, I already have a plan. I know what I'm going to eat. I know what my day looks like. I even know if I get off kilter, I know what that looks like. So I'm going to go back to that. And it helps people because then they go, oh no, I remembered. I remembered. And that's what I try to help people be consistent with, Jamie. Does that answer your question? Like I try to just put them in that place of just
Yes.
that is the work. You want to know the work? The work is not meal prep. The work is showing up for yourself every day, committed to break free of this. And everybody's journey, I think, is different. I don't sit around and go over here, I'm sober for 417 days and stuff like that. That for me, that they didn't resonate with me. Maybe if I had been an alcoholic or if I ever had been and I haven't been, that might would set with me. But I have so many clients who are so smart and so successful, but yet they didn't know all that. You know what I mean? And it was just such a it's a missing piece for many people. And I guess I just want to try to work with them and throw so many science, so much knowledge at people that it hits that person that goes, that is the aha for me. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that as coaches, anybody ever knows when that hits a person. I just want every time they show up to get a big hit,
Mm-hmm.
and be like, bam, I'm going to look
Mm-hmm.
at sugar different, or I'm going to look at snacking different, or I'm going to look at eating a big salad at lunch different,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like all of these different things, if they start to shift their philosophy of thinking, they'll shift.
Mhm. Very true. Very true. I like how you're working sort of from the inside out instead of all these outside factors.
Well, I can't, every other diet program works from the outside in.
That's true.
I will tell you, my very early people, and I don't really, I'm not a toot your horn kind of gal, but my very early people that named well said from the beginning, this is not a diet. And it kind of became like a little slogan within our community, like, well is not a diet. It's a lifestyle now that we've developed, and people get to choose it. I don't go out to eat very often because I don't like that.
Mm-mm.
And I've chosen that. I like to control it. If I want to eat the cookie, I know what's in it. I don't want other people in charge of what's in my food. And not only that, I want such a simple lifestyle that if I needed to, I could still be healthy, that it wouldn't be all about the food and all about that I would still know and understand enough about nutrition that Lisa could still live a healthy life as good as I could if there was a famine in the land.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of science about that too as you age. There's a lot of studies as you age to have a few extra pounds if you exercise daily is good for you. People don't really need to be too thin or underweight. They
Mhm.
don't. There's too much science that teaches, just a little bit above. Even if you're a little bit as you age in the overweight category, if you're a daily exerciser, and there's a lot of, when you throw out that kind of stat, I know there's a lot of, like what kind of daily exerciser, right? What is that person eating every day? But you know what I mean. Just saying, don't get to be old and frail and not exercise. That's not going to work for you either. So,
Mhm.
I deal with a lot of people, in their 70s. My oldest client's like 83 or 84. You know, it's beautiful. And it's beautiful for me. I think of all the things that have been so wonderful is that when people say, I'm 90, I'm 80 something years old, I guess Virginia's 71 now, but she was 68 or 69 at the time a few years ago. And she said she went to her doctor after years with, being overweight. Same doctor, years, different doctors. Okay. Hated being 100 pounds overweight. And nobody ever told her to eat when she was hungry.
Mm.
Like nobody ever just said, well, are you eating when you're hungry? Like she was like, I had no idea. And then my clients often will say to me, Lisa, was never really hungry for decades.
Oh,
I
sure.
never let myself get hungry for decades,
Right.
really. And when all their friends, if you're 100 pounds overweight, this is a poll I just took. This is fascinating. For people that have been 100 pounds overweight for a long, long time, or, significantly overweight, I think the parameter was 50 to 80 plus. Okay, something like that, significant for decades. When they went through like menopause or that typical Paige may have had it, she wasn't that much, quite as much overweight, but they went through menopause at 40. They never recognized it because they were so obese, they didn't even know they gained 10 pounds. Like
Mm.
Mm.
their lifestyle was craving and craving and craving. And I decided to do a poll on that. I was shocked that they said, I know, I never even noticed that 10 pounds. I saw my friends struggle that weren't already overweight, but I never noticed that 10 pounds from hormones. And it was like, wow, don't you find that fascinating, Jamie?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm gonna tell you, if it
Not
comes
surprising, but
if it comes to collecting the data and understanding their head, sign me up because I think we can't fix it if we don't know what it is. And I do realize for some people it's trauma, for some people it's habits, for some people it's mindless, for some people it's emotional, for some people it's addictive. And for many people, the addictive piece is the biggest piece. And if they got rid of all that, the rest of it would go away. Like I understand that process.
mm-hmm.
And, I talk to my people about it. I want them to understand what the properties of those foods and additives and what it does. That it's like there's such a game to it. There's a big game to it. Let's fatten you up, and now let's give you high expensive medicine to skinny you down. And
Mhm.
then let's take away all your muscle, and
Mhm.
then you're going to have all these other ailments.
Mhm.
So,
Very true.
and I'm not against Ozempic. I've had people on it, they'd be like saying I'm against Weight Watchers or keto. I'm not, or fasting. I think all those things have their place, but I don't think we can ever learn any better than waiting to see if we're really hungry and then
Mm-hmm.
addressing why do I want to eat when I'm not hungry?
That's it.
You, oh man, you got to address that because that's
Mhm.
the juice. That's what turns it in from a diet to a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And once you've cleared that up, well, maybe it was trauma. Well, maybe it is addiction. Well, maybe it is, hey, I'm good. I just can't have certain foods in my house and I'm able to be okay after that.
Right.
I've got clients like that. I'm pretty much like that. You know, I don't, so I can't speak and sit around and say I'm somebody that we would call like totally healed forever or anything. To me, it's a journey. And
Forever, right?
it
Yes.
forever. And it's not even the destination, it's the
No,
journey.
that's
Yeah.
right.
Like, if I had a destination, it would be live to be 95, help hundreds of million people just learn to wait when they eat when they're hungry and then eat the rainbow. Like
Mm-hmm.
honestly, and for me, just enjoy my life and my family and my health. But it would be, I'd still want to be doing this when I'm 95
Right.
and
Mhm.
That's
in
right.
my right mind. And, type 3 diabetes, also known as dementia,
Yep.
in the metabolic mental health space, the obesity is blowing up.
Mhm.
And it is because it started 70 or 80 years ago. And now the baby boomers, the Generation X's, we're the first generation of GMO processed. You go eat it, eat it. And now we have the metabolic fallout.
Yeah. It's a
People have
Definitely.
celiac, people have Crohn's, people have inflammatory bowel disease. People have all these things because of the food, the
Mhm.
processed food.
Right.
Not
Right.
not necessarily the real food, but I mean, I talk about that. I'm sorry to go off on that one. That's a whole different podcast.
Yeah.
But it's fascinating because if you can get people to see that you're only feeding the behavior by feeding the behavior,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that you use your spiritual side, use your coping mechanism, use your time out, use your planning, use your routine, use your self-love. And if you can't do that, I understand. Use your community's love for you,
Mm-hmm.
to help you get through to the next level. That's what this is about. That's why I still have 200 people after
Mm-hmm.
these years, 4 years. And just I had over 300, but 200 of the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people don't stay around if they're not being changed,
Right.
you know?
Right. And obviously you're doing a lot of good work out there, and we so appreciate your
Oh,
Yes.
time
Yes.
coming on and sharing all of your philosophies with us, because I mean, this is what it's about. We've got to help people to find their way on this journey. So we really appreciate your time. If people want to find you, you want to share?
Yes.
yeah, I would start at wellweightloss.net and I
Okay.
would subscribe there because I do free challenges and I do stuff like that. I'm just trying to get people off the couch
Yeah.
and eating a little healthier and getting started on the journey.
Yeah.
We talked about this before because I love the work that you all do.
Oh, thank you.
And I like the way you do it. I like the system you do it. I think it's beautiful work. And I think that there's a big piece of a person's journey that they go there.
Mhm.
And it's healing for them and it's life changing for generation after generation.
It is
And
generating.
I believe in your work too, is what I'm trying to
Thank
say.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And
Thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. And thank you so much. I hope to see you guys again.
Yes, that would be
Thank you.
great.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Really, really appreciate your time and your wisdom, Lisa, very much, and your passion too for how you help
Right.
people do what you help them do.
Mhm.
I couldn't
Well,
agree more with your approach, and I couldn't agree more as far as working from the inside out and having that really guide your process with your clients. So
Yeah, beautiful.
thank you for your work.
oh, well, thank you. I'm very humbled by it. I don't have a certification as a coach or any of that. And I've been a cheerleader of people. My mama said since I was about 3 years old, you know, you were
Yes,
cheering people at 3 years old,
I
what
love
you
it.
cheering people,
Yeah, I love
with
it.
nursing students or fellow nurses after a bad day,
Yeah,
just, I've always wanted to be a person to lift other people up and help people believe in themselves
yeah,
because
yeah,
I believe in people's ability to
right.
see whatever picture they can paint for themselves, they can get
Yeah,
there.
that's right. And your
So
enthusiasm is very
I appreciate
contagious.
you guys so much too. I appreciate your work and what you're doing out there. And I will
Thank
see
you.
you, I guess, another time. I'm
Yeah,
grateful for you having me.
thank
Thank you.
you. And if
Thank
you
you,
want to
Lisa.
find out more about us, you can find us at realfoodrecovery4u.com. That's the number 4 and the letter U. Thanks so much, guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.